So this is Fred Johannesson. I'm the CEO of NitroAccelerator Corporation, and I'm here with Jason Sleater from Communicus, one of our customers who's going to tell us about how NitroAccelerator has helped his environment. So Jason, if you don't mind, tell us about your role and how you support the company.
Well, I'm the IT manager here, and at a small company, that typically means you wear a lot of different hats. So kind of an accidental DBA, I've fallen into that role. So SQL Server and making sure SQL performs properly has been a bigger part of my role here. But in general, anything that plugs into the wall and all the computer stuff is part of it too.
Wow. All right. And what does your company do?
Well, we do advertising market research. So let's just say a quick example. You're a big company and you want to know if your ads are bringing in the customers that you want or customers at all. We will find that out for you. So we've got a lot of data scientists and people mining data and saying, hey, that commercial did a good job. That brought a lot of people in. Or, don't do that again or something like that. But we've got a lot of really smart people that can make decisions based on mountains of numbers.
Wow. And from what I understand, your kind of architecture is that you have like a SQL Server database, and you're also connecting that into like Tableau analytics types of things.
Yes. The way we really have it set up, and actually we can talk about this in a minute, but the way you guys came in and helped us so much was it's an Azure-based SQL Server, and that's cloud, kind of like Amazon Web Services. It's Microsoft's version of that. And we use Tableau as our BI tool, our business intelligence tool, to get that information out, and our data scientists make some sense of it from there. And it's a lot of data.
Yeah. And so, that's a good lead in. So what was kind of the problem that kind of led you to looking for?
It's manyfold, and all of it actually narrowed down to one thing that this software does that fixes just about everything. That sounds crazy. You're not paying me to say this. But the problem is that when we have to pull down data, let's say, who knows, we're trying to figure out if people with black t-shirts like to buy this product or something. How do you find that out? We have really smart people trying to figure that out. So they have to just sometimes guess or take huge chunks of data and bring it into one place and then chop it all up. Now, because we decided to go with Azure and host this on a cloud server, which is basically a virtual machine, because we did that, we don't have the bandwidth that you would typically have when you have an on-prem SQL server. So if we had it sitting here in this office or in one of the, anywhere locally, we'd have a gigabit connection and it would be less of an issue. One of the things that made us choose Azure was because the licensing for a SQL enterprise is far less expensive if you pay hourly. So we don't use a full-time machine or anything like that. So for a small business like us, it made a lot of sense. Anyway, because we were remote and everything had to be downloaded or uploaded to it, Microsoft limits the amount of bandwidth that you can get out of certain virtual machines. So with the limitation of that bandwidth, at the time, our limited internet connection, and people who are traveling, like say even at home, you probably don't have the same fiber optic internet connection we have, right? So all of those factors meant that when people were trying to pull data, they were getting it extremely slowly. So you'd open up Tableau and you'd say, well, I don't know, do people named Fred like to buy this car? And how do you find that out? You can pull up a ton of data and just see if it makes any sense. But that data would take forever, and it's so much. Now, the SQL Server was fast, and our computers are fast when they get the data, but the pipeline in between was limited. We needed to make it less data somehow. So I experimented initially with extracting to a file, compressing the file, sending it over, re-extracting the file, and then using that as a separate data source. But then you lose the SQL Server connection and all the other stuff that goes along with that. I don't remember exactly where I found you. I hate that I don't have that answer, because I was trying to think of that before. But through searching, I found your tool, and the setup was insanely simple, which is great for me because I'm going to have to set it up. So the installation was insanely simple. It was as easy as restarting a process, and suddenly the data that we're transferring went from it's 10 to 20 times 10 to 20 times faster and 10 to 20 times less data.
Wow.
So we're taking, let's say you're at home, or let's say you're at an airport and you have a crappy 5 megabit, 10 megabit connection, right? Mm-hmm. You can effectively get 100 to, whatever that is, depending on the compression ratio, to your computer in a place that would typically have a really poor connection. Mm-hmm. And people were suddenly able to get this stuff done a lot faster, get so much more data. And as you know, like your train of thought, if you're thinking, you're focusing on something, right? And you think, how do I get this? Let me go, walk away. It's going to take 40 minutes to get 8 gigs of data or something like that. Yeah. Now we get 10 to 20 times faster. And it's turned people's just attitudes about working on that. And I think that's super valuable. Like I can quantify easily how much we're saving in data download cost, because that's a hard number, and what we're saving in uptime, because that's a hard number. But the fact that people can continue to focus and continue to work without just going, I'm out of here, I'll come back, I'll go get a donut, I don't know. And doing that is massive, because these people are thinking people, right? They're not like me, where I'm a nerd and I type and I walk away and it doesn't matter. They have to keep their train of thought, and it's made a massive difference. So I guess I'm kind of going into two questions. How did you save us, and what was the problem? But the problem, too little bandwidth and too little time. And the answer was compress it all. Honestly, 90 to 95% is what we get. And it's insane. It's fantastic. It's made such a difference.
That's great to hear. Yeah, the other thing I thought you had mentioned before was that you also are doing some optimization of your use of your actual VMs. So
yes,
you were using less VM time on.
Yeah, so it's embarrassing to say to anybody who is a DBA out there, but we do turn our SQL Server off at the end of the day. I know you should never do that. Believe me, I've been a DBA elsewhere, and you should never do that. But you pay hourly for the VM, so we can afford actually a better VM now, because the money that we save, let's say you do have to do big extracts. That means we have to have it on longer. The longer it's on, the more expensive it is. The more expensive it is, the less we can do with it. So with the budget, that means we can say, well, we're on for less hours. Let's crank up the machine. Let's give it more RAM. Let's give it a faster solid state drive. Let's do all that stuff. And when we do backups at the end of the night, we're able to shut it down sooner, because it's not like, well, the backups are done, right? And somebody's still doing an extract. It's still going to go for another hour or two. That hour or two, $2, $3, $4 an hour, it adds up. It adds up quite a bit per virtual machine. So we're saving on server licensing because we pay hourly, VM because we pay hourly, and again, people's sanity, which is invaluable.
Yeah. So it sounds like you get more productivity out of your analysts. You're saving money on your data egress, your VMs.
Yep.
That's fantastic. Great.
Everything. Yeah, it's just like and I don't know what kind of witchcraft is happening on the underside. I don't know what your developers are doing, but it's just it's so silly that and I know hardware exists that does similar stuff, but it's monumentally expensive, and you also can't do it from a laptop, in an airport to an actual machine.
Yeah.
You have to be within a data center to do it, or within a location. And that's part of our issue, is when we're showing a client saying, hey, look at all this great stuff. Yeah. Oh, crap, I need to update this data. Let me update it real quick, and then you can get it in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So great story. Do you have any other futures, something else that you'd like to see from NitroSphere in the near or long term, or?
Well, we talked about opening up the database publicly, because as we offer more products to our customers, we'd like to give our customers access to live data instead of reported data. Okay. And if we were to do that, and depending on the databases that we're connected to, I would love to be able to see, like, you do the encryption key in there. I can say this encryption key works only on this port, only with this customer. And when we're doing it through our VPN, we don't use an encryption key because it's already encrypted kind of thing. So maybe depending on connection type or port or something, I'm not quite sure. That's for your geniuses to figure out. But something like that to say, this customer uses this, compress this way, and this customer uses this, or encrypt this way. This customer uses this. Don't bother with the encryption. No need.
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to the developers about this, and we'll see what we can do for you. So,
yeah.
Well, I'd like to just say thanks for talking to me about NitroAccelerator, about your business, the impact on your business and your organization. And one of the things I want to offer folks who watch this is to find out more about Communicus. I think it's just Communicus.com.
Right? It is.
And so go to Communicus.com to find out more about NitroSphere. It's NitroSphere.com. And I'll be doing other segments like this in the next couple weeks with other customers. But you're our first. I really appreciate it, Jason. Well, thank you so much for participating.
Thank you very much, Fred.
Okay.
See you later.